Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has a plot like no other game, and the current hot mystery is the third legendary. There are several theories on what the third legendary Pokemon might be, but I think we have already seen the third legendary. I believe that the third legendary Pokemon is none other than the champion Geeta. Throughout the game, Geeta has been a rare sight. Other champions have appeared very frequently throughout the game and are a menace. They are iconic, they are memorable, they are powerful. Geeta is none of the above. She doesn't appear frequently and she isn't even that powerful. Perhaps the reason why she isn't a good Pokemon trainer is because she herself is a Pokemon. We also know that the gym leaders and Elite Four members aren't that positive towards her. They kinda loathe her. So it could make sense if she was forcing them to be a part of this. Which, wait, Geeta is. She has indeed forced the members and she has indeed forced the people to be a part of the Pokemon League. We know this as it was stated in the game that she essentially arm-handled everyone and forced them to be a part of this. But why? Why did she use force? Why is she loathed? Yet again, this is another thing that we haven't seen in former champions. Champions like Cynthia, Steven, Diantha, Lance and others never forced any of their co-workers, and they definitely weren't loathed. So why Geeta? Perhaps she's scaring them with her powers, or maybe Geeta has brainwashed, or at the very least partially brainwashed them all. But her intimidating them makes no sense. Perhaps not a direct power, but she very well could have intimidated all of them. She has. So how come Geeta is the third legendary when the third legendary looks like the disc? Well, the answer is simple. Geeta isn't the true form of the third legendary. It's just a base form. The third legendary having multiple forms is something that is quite possible. Koraidon and Miraidon have multiple forms, so why not the third legendary? It is highly likely that this third legendary might have multiple forms and Geeta might just be one of them. She also has a huge influence on the Paldea region. Not only is she the chairwoman, the top champion, but she is also the head of the school board, and she allowed Penny to get away with hacking. We'll discuss about that part later, but the fact that this woman is essentially the chairwoman of the Pokemon League, the top champion, and the head of the school board is a bit suspicious. It's almost as though she's not allowing people to take their own decisions, but rather forcing them. It's like she's forcefully imposing her powers, forcefully establishing her powers. But why would she do that unless she had that much of power? I heard a theory that she might be one of the Paldean empresses, but in this time and age, nobody would take her seriously. And given how weak her team is, they could easily overthrow her. But if she is the third legendary Pokemon in disguise, there would be power to fear. And we already know that this third legendary has communicated with Heath and from what others are saying online, brainwashed him into doing its bidding. However, I do not believe about the brainwashing part, but the fact that Heath doesn't remember his encounter with the third legendary is strange. The very same thing could happen to Sada, but once again that is a different topic. Now let's shift the spotlight back onto Geeta. More specifically, her team. Her ace Pokemon is a Glimmora. Glimmora is a Pokemon that can only be found in Area 0, however its pre-evolution, Glimmet, can be found in other parts of Paldea. But why is Glimmora only found in the Area 0 when its pre-evolution is found in other parts of Paldea? Even Nomona made a direct statement when a cutscene with Glimmora first appeared in Area 0. This further raises concerns and suspiciousness for me. Why was it a cutscene about Glimora specifically, and why did Nomona directly state out that it is a Pokemon that La Primera uses, Geeta uses? Why a cutscene with Glimora and such dialogue? Why couldn't it be some other Pokemon? Glimora is also not that strong of a Pokemon. Why couldn't it be some Pokemon like Scovillain or Kingambit or Cyclizar or any other Pokemon? Why Glimora specifically? Unless there is something dark, mysterious lying underneath her ace. Could it be possible that Glimmet is capable of evolving only in Area 0? Well, you may think that I'm crazy since Glimmet is capable of evolving outside of Area 0, but I'm talking about this from the plot point of view. Let's say that Glimora essentially wasn't a Pokemon that you could find. Let's say a couple of years ago, hundreds or thousands of years ago, Glimora was a Pokemon that was practically non-existent. Perhaps it is a recent Pokemon which has came from Area 0. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this. Glimora is a Pokemon that is quite recent and new. It was first discovered in Area 0. Afterwards, as most people caught it, specifically Geeta, and when the Pokemon became well known, it started going to the other parts of the region. There it couldn't sustain its physical form and had to be shrunken down to what we now know as Glimmet. Basically, Glimora shrunk itself into Glimmet as it came from Area 0, as it is a recent Pokemon. So, a dark, mysterious Pokemon with already a mysterious and suspicious woman. What more? What more is there to discuss? And as mentioned previously, Glimora is only capable of being found in Area 0. And guess what? The third legendary's traces are only found in Area 0 and in Heath's book. But you can only access that part of the book after you have accessed Area 0. Which gives us a slap across the face, which states that the third legendary has a huge connection with Area 0 and is only found in Area 0. So it isn't impossible for the third legendary to take on its base form, Geeta, catch Glimora, and then go out and using her powers, establish control over this region, establish control everywhere. Another thing that I want to discuss about is Geeta's hair. My headcanon is that those are hair extensions, but seeing how people online discuss about it, I decided to toss in my own 2 cents too. Maybe her crazy hair is signifying that there is something seriously wrong with this lady, that she is not an actual lady, but rather the third legendary. Geeta is the form of the third legendary. Geeta is the third legendary. And if you still have not understood from my previous words, Geeta has visited Area 0. That's there, I simplified it. Geeta has visited Area 0 as she originated from that place, for she is the third legendary. And I guess that's all, but there is still something that I want to share. A hypothetical scenario. Prepare yourself. It is the post-game. You, the player, have explored every unexplored part of Area 0. Now, you are in its deepest area. The a place in Area Zero so below that all of the people in 5D are unaware about its existence. Even Namona, Arvin and Professor Sada herself was unaware about the existence of this place. There, you find Geeta. You and Geeta exchange words until Geeta realizes that you are trying to obstruct her path to her success. Geeta realizes that there's nothing she can do but fight. You and Geeta have a battle. Her team is still the same. You defeat her. But it isn't over yet. You feel as though you have emerged victorious. It feels as though Geeta has lost. But it hasn't. Geeta then makes a shocking revelation. She is indeed the third legendary. She is the reason this Area Zero is so popular. She is what Heat encountered, and then you battle her while she is still in her Geeta form, base form. You battle Geeta. She lets out her cry. Geet. This is a battle like never before. A battle against a human, a person. But alas, it is only a mere form. You defeat Geeta. Once more, it feels like the end. It truly does. But then, Geeta reveals her true self, her disc form, the disc legendary. You battle Geeta again in her disc form, and this time actually defeat it. And you also catch it. Now you are the owner of this third legendary. You can use it in its Geeta form and in its disc form. In its disc form it has a different cry, and in its Geeta form it has the cry of this. Yeet. As for the Pokemon that Geeta had, well, I don't know about that. Maybe you gain those Pokemon, or Geeta still has those Pokemon in her Geeta form and utilizes them. But either ways, Geeta is the third legendary. You battle her first with your Pokemon versus her Pokemon. Next time you battle her, it's you versus Geeta. Just Geeta without her Pokemon, because she's a legendary Pokemon herself in her base form. Then you finally battle her in the disc form. I hope everything was understandable and you all liked this video. I can't wait for the DLC of Scarlet and Violet. Area Zero has me hooked, man. Bye. Geets.